Hello, everyone. This is Suzanne at The Gospel Truth. Today is Thursday, the 26th, I believe. Ron and I went to physical therapy today. It was rough, but she informed us that we must do our exercises at home. We have to keep moving, even if it hurts. That's hard to do, but I guess we're going to have to do it. In order to get better, sometimes the path is rough, isn't it? The other day, I got out this Bible and I was browsing through it. It's the Faith Life Illustrated Study Bible. And I just flipped it open and it fell to something in Numbers. And I went, wow. Okay, Lord. I'm getting there. I understand. And I want to study that today. We're going to read Chapter 11, Numbers chapter 11. There we go. All right, let's get started. Fire from the Lord. Now the people complained about their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was aroused. Complained about their hardships. Made God angry. When fire from the Lord burned among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried out to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So that the place was called Taberah, because the fire from the Lord had burned among them. Quail from the Lord. The rabble with them began to crave other food. And again the Israelites started wailing and said, "If only we had meat to eat. We remembered the fish we ate in Egypt at no cost, also the cucumbers, melons, leeks, onions, and garlic. But now we have lost our appetite. We may never see anything but this manna." The manna was like coriander seed and looked like resin. The people went around gathering it and then ground it in a hand mill or crushed it into a mortar. They cooked it in a pot or made it onto loaves, and it tasted like something made with olive oil. When the dew settled on the camp at night, the manna also came down. Moses heard the people of every family wailing at the entrance of their tents. The Lord became exceedingly angry, and Moses was troubled. He asked the Lord, "Why have you brought this trouble on your servant? What have I done to displease you that you put the burden of all these people on me? Did I conceive all these people? Did I give birth to them? Why do you tell me to carry them in my arms as a nurse carries an infant to the land you promised on oath to their ancestors? Where can I get meat for all these people?" They kept wailing to me, "Give us meat to eat." I cannot carry all these people by myself. The burden is too heavy for me. If this is how you are going to treat me, please go ahead and kill me. If I have found favor in your eyes, and do not let me face my own ruin. The Lord said to Moses, "Bring me 70 of Israel's elders who are known to you as leaders and officials among the people. Have them come to the tent of meeting, that they may stand there with you. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the power of the Spirit that is on you and put it on them. They will share the burden of the people with you, so that you will not have to carry it alone. Tell the people, concentrate yourselves in preparation for tomorrow, and you will eat meat. The Lord heard you when you wailed. If only we had meat to eat. We were better off in Egypt. Now the Lord will give you meat, and you will eat it." So they've been complaining. Evidently they forgot what the Lord did for them in crossing the Red Sea and being safe on dry ground again. And now they forgot all that. And all they can see is, we're tired of eating this manna. We want some meat. It'd be better if we went back to Egypt. What a slap in the face to God, right? You will not eat it for just 1 day or 2 days or 5, 10, or 20 days, but for a whole month, until it comes out of your nostrils and you loathe it, because you have rejected the Lord who is among you and have wailed before him, saying, "Why did we ever leave Egypt?" Now, that's key here, because they said, "Why did we ever leave Egypt?" I think sometimes we have to be reminded of where we came from and what the Lord has done for us. And when wearisome times come, that we keep trusting in the Lord. We keep putting our trust in Him so that we know He will provide. Sometimes it isn't the way we want to be provided for, but it's always the best. And I think God was very, very hurt that you've seen what I can do. I don't get it. And I'm angry at you that you would think, and you would complain, and you would cry, and you would wail. But Moses said, "Here I am among 600,000 men on foot, and you say, I will give them meat to eat for a whole month. Would they have enough if flocks and herds were slaughtered for them? Would they have enough if all the fish in the sea were caught for them?" Now, the Lord now gets a little bit miffed at Moses. The Lord answered Moses, is the Lord's arm too short? Now you will see whether or not what I say will come true for you. So Moses went out and told the people what the Lord had said. He brought together 70 of their elders and had them stand around the tent. Then the Lord came down in the cloud and spoke with him, and he took some of the power of the Spirit that was upon him and put it on the 70 elders. When the Spirit rested on them, they prophesied and did not do so again. So Moses is saying, this is too much weight on my shoulders. Where am I going to find all this meat? And is the Lord's arm too short? Remember Jesus when he fed the 5,000 with just 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread? And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in our humanness that we forget that we do have a loving God. And even if we don't understand the path He's taking us on, and, you know, I can understand. Eating manna day after day after day after day how many of us don't want to eat the same thing every day? We eat it for 2-3 days and we're done with it. And I think if they would have waited, kept their mouth shut, maybe God would have given them some meat. Or if they would have said, we're really nice if we have some meat. We appreciate what the Lord did for us coming out of Egypt. And we know He is powerful and He's loving and He's caring and God can do anything He wants to do. And that way, I think God would have more compassion on them and saying, you remember I am a great God. I'm going to reward you for that. So I was thinking, when I was reading this, how many times do we think our burdens are too heavy to bear? And we start complaining and we get angry. And sometimes the Lord has to pull us back and say, my grace is sufficient for you. And I am moving you in a direction that you know nothing of. And you have to keep trusting me. Look back to what God's done for me in my life. I look back. I was on not good ground when I was very, very young. And once I started studying the Bible and taking it to heart, I couldn't get enough of it. It just made such common sense to me. So I just wanted to share that with you today, that we shouldn't be complainers and grumble people. We shouldn't be grumble people. But the Lord is displeased with us. He don't mind if we ask questions and if we have doubts, if we have uncertainties. But at the same time, you've got to acknowledge that God, I have a hard time not knowing what's on down the road. I'm not getting a clear picture here. I try things that I think, okay, I think God is leading me in this direction, and come to find out, evidently it was not. Or you hope, for me it's like, okay, maybe a different physical therapy place will help me better. Maybe maybe this is our answer to do this, take more vitamins or get more shots or do anything we need to do, thinking that, you hear things, everybody else gets good results from those things. I don't. Ron doesn't. Perhaps you don't either. And like, yay, I'm happy for you. We say that snidely, don't we? I'm so happy for you. But I am happy for those that things do work for them. And for whatever reasons why things aren't working sometimes, again, it's one of the hardest things to do is to keep yourself from going into depression, keep yourself from being discouraged and not following through. And yeah, it may take a lot of pain. It may take several years. It may not happen till you die and you're in heaven with the Lord where there's no more pain, no more death, no more crying. But we do know that the Lord wants us to be grateful. He wants us to remember what He's done for us in our lives. And if we don't do that, God's anger will be aroused at us and maybe He'll take something away. And God corrects us. And sometimes that correction isn't pleasant, is it? But I still believe we have a loving, caring God, and that I just got to get through each day, each moment, keep myself busy, keep my mind occupied, rest when I need to, know when to push forward, know when to pull back. I think it's that simple. I think sometimes we get ourselves so frustrated and so up in arms about things that we can't see the forest for the trees anymore. And if you ever get feeling that way, go to the Bible, read some scriptures. There's a lot of concordance out there on different, like on pain, on suffering, on kindness, love, hope, all that. There's tons of verses that we have at our fingertips nowadays. Just, all I have to do is type it in Google and I get lots and lots of verses and put some verses to mind. And again, one of my favorite verses is, I would have not believed, what is it? I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I would have lost heart unless I had seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And that helps me a lot. I do see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And it's so refreshing when you come upon it. And when you meet somebody that says you're a Christian, your hopes go up. And then, there are those times where people say that, and then you see their lifestyle and their fruits, you go, you're doing things that aren't pleasing God here. And I have confronted people on those things. Sometimes people are receptive. Sometimes people get very angry. People don't want to be told. They don't want to be told that they're out of line. And sometimes we have to do that gentle encouraging, that gentle correction. And of course, always according to Scripture. So, I just thought that was interesting that when I opened my Bible, it fell to that. And, Moses, even Moses, he got upset so much. And he had seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living over and over again. And so I believe God puts these stories in the Bible, these true stories in the Bible for us, because we can see that even the great heroes had issues sometimes that they didn't fully understand. And they had to fully trust and rely on God. And there were consequences for some of their actions. Like David, his firstborn son with Delilah died because he disobeyed God. And he took another man's wife. He had him killed in the front lines. And he took Bathsheba as his wife. And many of them had concubines. That was not approved by God. They fell into the people around them were doing that and having concubines, so they kind of followed suit. A lot of things we do, God doesn't approve of, but He can still use us. And when we find out, like David did, we need to bow down and ask forgiveness of the Lord. All right, everyone, that's it for today. You take care. You have a blessed day. Lord willing, I will be back on tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to it. And I have a couple new subscribers I've seen. If you'd like to introduce yourself, we would surely like that. Anybody have any prayer requests? Any topics for study maybe that you want to go into? Any Bible questions? Put them in the box below. I think a lot of us on this channel are strong Christians and we know our Bibles. But if you just need some encouragement, let me know. All right, take care, everyone. Bye for now.